As a content creator and portrait photographer, having lights I can grab and go is super important. Over the past month and a half, I've been putting the Westcott Ice Light 3s to the test in a variety of real-world scenarios, using them both for my portrait sessions and video content. I've used it everywhere from golden hour portraits to coffee shops to creative studio setups and even colorful arcade shoots. In this video, I'm breaking down how I've been using the Ice Light 3s to maximize their full potential and why they've become one of my favorite grab-and-go lights for both photo and video. Let's cover todo el pedo. You'd be surprised how powerful the Ice Light 3 actually is during golden hour and even into blue hour. For this shoot, I had a nice cloudy day which already gave me some really soft, even light, but I wanted my images to pop just a little bit more, so I decided to bring in two ice lights for this setup. I placed one in front of Ashley set to 5600 Kelvin and used the barn doors to control the spill, and that's one of my favorite features about these lights. You can really shape and direct the light exactly where you want. Then to add a bit of separation, I used a second ice light behind my subject as a rim light. It gave me that subtle rim that makes the subject stand out from the background. What I enjoy about the ice lights is that they're continuous LED lights. What you see is what you get. Plus, I have the flexibility to adjust the color temperature, which makes them perfect for matching any lighting situation. When it came to the coffee shop, this is where I was really excited to test out the Ice Light 3s. Now, usually I'm more of an off-camera flash kind of guy, but in this situation, continuous lights just made more sense. The coffee shop gave me permission to shoot during their slower hours, but even then, there were still a few customers inside. And as you know, firing flashes in a space like this would have been super distracting. The ice lights worked out perfect since they're small and compact, they didn't take up too much space. I was able to blend them with the natural ambiance of the coffee shop. And once again, I went with my go-to light setup, one ice light as my key light for my subject and another behind for that rim light to create that separation. Now for the rim light though, I did change the color temperature. I warmed it up just a little bit to match the tones of the cafe's interior. It added that subtle glow that tied the whole lighting together. One of my favorite ways to use the ice lights is in the studio. What's cool is that you can easily blend them with other continuous lights. For this setup, I was using the Westcott L120B as my key light, but then I decided to add two ice lights as my rim lights. This setup was during my Dallas workshop at Arlington Camera, and I used two ice lights behind the subject, and they worked out great to add a little bit of pop and separation in the image. Then for this Dia de los Muertos shoot, I had two ice lights again behind my subject, but this time I added a third one on the floor to light up the background. That's where the versatility of these lights really shines. You can get creative with the placement, the angles, and the height without dealing with big setups. Now the last studio photo I want to share was more of a creative look. Up until this point, I had been only showing the bi-color feature, but the ice lights also have full RGB control, which is freaking awesome. You can dial in any color you want, and it makes it perfect for photo and video. For this specific shot, I was in New Jersey at Unique Photo doing my workshop, and I set up two ice lights aimed at the background this time, and using the barn doors, I angled them to create this cool pattern of color. I went for a teal and purple combo to give it more of a stylized cinematic look. And that's what's cool about these lights. You can go from a practical setup to a creative color setup in seconds. The possibilities really are endless with the RGB capabilities. On this next shoot, I decided to bring the ice lights with me to an arcade, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of color. This is where the RGB feature really shines. Instead of just using the standard bicolor rim light, I wanted the light to blend naturally into the environment and complement all those vibrant colors at the arcade. And like I said before, and you're probably going to hear me say it again, the portability factor on these lights is amazing. I was able to move them around, position them, and adjust the angles without being in the way or drawing too much attention. Even in a busy space like Dave & Buster's, they were very discreet and easy to manage, which made the whole experience smooth and stress-free, especially when you're working with customers. Whenever I've needed to stay quick and mobile, the Ice Light 3s have been my go-to choice as of late because they make my workflow much easier. While I've been using the ice lights for portraits, I've actually started using them a lot more for video, much more than I expected. At first, my mindset was, well, these lights would just be for photos, but honestly, they've come in handy for my video work. I've been filming a lot of short form content and even in my YouTube videos with these lights. And because they're so easy to set up, they've motivated me to create even more content. Before, I had to drag out big cases, run power cords everywhere, and it felt like such a hassle. Now I can just grab the ice light, attach the battery, throw it on a stand, and I'm ready to rock and roll. If you've seen my recent content on YouTube or Instagram, especially my Hasselblad videos, you've probably noticed these lights in action. I've been using them as rim lights for unboxing videos, product features. For example, that Hasselblad video I recently posted, I used the ice lights, and I used one with a blue and one for a bicolor for that rim light. And I really enjoyed these results that I got straight out of camera. Keep in mind, I film most of my videos in my small office, and using large lights was always a challenge. The Ice Light slim vertical design makes it perfect for tight spaces, and it doesn't get in the way, and it still gives you that clean, professional look. Honestly, it's made video creation so much easier and much more fun. Going into 2026, one of my goals is to really level up my video work, and tools like this make that process a lot smoother. I'll do a quick pullback so you guys can see how I'm using them right now here in my compact office setup. You'll notice how well they blend into the space and how efficient they are even in a small workspace. Now that I've shown you what the ice lights can do in real-world scenarios, let's talk about some of the key features that make these lights so versatile. First off, they both got AC and DC power options, so if you're worried about battery life, you're covered. They come with a long 16-foot USB-C cable, which means you can plug them in and shoot all day if you need to. You can also order them with barn doors, and I highly recommend it. That extra control really helps shape and direct the light exactly where you want, which is especially helpful when I'm filming my YouTube content or working on portrait setups. Now there are two options available. You can get the bicolor model only or the RGB version. Personally, I think it's worth spending a little bit extra to get the RGB one. You get access to every color, which opens up so many creative possibilities, both for photography and video work. Battery life is also great. You can get around an hour and a half at full power. And of course, if you need to, you can charge it with the USB-C cable that it comes with. These lights also come packed with creative effects and built-in color gel presets, which makes the process so much easier. As for mounting, they give you a lot of flexibility. You've got multiple mounting points, including a nano rail, both a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch threads, so that you can attach them to stands, rigs, or even get creative on how you position them. Now, my personal favorite way to mount them is using the Westcott dual joint mount adapter. It lets you tilt, rotate, and fine tune the angle however you want. Now, keep in mind, it does have a 1/4 inch thread at the bottom, but it will only stay in the vertical position, so just keep that in mind. I personally like the flexibility that you get with the adapter. And finally, one of the coolest features is that you can control everything through the Westcott app. The brightness, color temperature, RGB settings, all the effects, all straight from your phone. It's super intuitive and it saves you a ton of time, especially if you're working solo. So the Ice Light 3s have really improved my workflow as of late for my videos and for my photos, and I'm excited to see where it's gonna go into 2026. If you guys enjoyed this content and want to see more behind the scenes content, tutorials, or how I edit my photographs, take a look at my YouTube channel. You will see right here some more educational stuff.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Eli.
I love it.